Found your shadow in the hallway light, still hanging where our memories collide. Every picture frame became a wound, every silence echoed through the room. I wore your promises like armor plates, never thought they'd bend beneath the weight. Now the walls are trembling in my chest, and I'm learning how to breathe again.
I was drowning in the flood you left behind, counting every goodbye 1,000 times, but the fire in my bones refused to die.
Now I'm rising from the ashes of your name, carrying the scars but not the blame. You broke my heart, you left me in the rain, but storms don't last forever. I was shattered, I was falling through the dark, holding on to pieces of my heart. You thought the pain would tear my soul apart, instead it made me stronger.
There were nights I couldn't face the dawn, thought the light had packed its bags and gone. Every dream we built was burning down, like a kingdom sinking underground. But the wreckage taught me how to stand, with trembling knees and empty hands. What survived beneath the crushing weight was the part of me you couldn't take.
I was buried underneath the grief and doubt, every tear became a river breaking out. Now I hear a different voice inside me shout. Now I'm rising from the ashes of your name, carrying the scars but not the blame. You broke my heart, you left me in the rain, but storms don't last forever. I was shattered, I was falling through the dark, holding on to pieces of my heart. You thought the pain would tear my soul apart, instead it made me stronger. Stronger than the nights I couldn't sleep, stronger than the promises you couldn't keep, stronger than the ghosts you left in me. I'm finally free. Look at me now, standing where I used to fall. The cracks became the roads that led me through it all. I won't erase the hurt, I won't pretend it never came, because the wounds you left behind ignited my flame. Rising from the ashes of your name,
Like a wildfire dancing through the pain.
you broke my heart, but I survived the flames and found myself in the embers.
I was lost inside the ruins of goodbye. Now I'm reaching higher than the sky. The tears became the wings that helped me fly and carry me forever. Love is gone, but I'm still here. The night was long, but now it's clear. You were the storm that nearly broke me apart,
But from the ashes I rebuilt my heart. The curtains closed on everything we were, a final echo fading into blur.
Your footsteps vanished down an empty street, while all my shattered dreams lay at my feet.
I tried to hold the pieces with my hands, but heartbreak never follows any plans. The weight of losing you pulled me below, to places only lonely people know.
I heard the darkness whisper in my ear, give up, there's nothing left worth fighting for. But underneath the wreckage destroying what I thought would be. But when the dust settled and the smoke disappeared, I saw a stranger in the mirror, braver than my fears. And now my heartbeat sounds like thunder, rolling through the dark. Every broken piece you left behind, help me find my spark. I was built from the break, forged inside the pain. Every scar became a story, flowing through my veins. I was lost in the storm, searching for a sign. Now I'm climbing from the ruins, leaving all the hurt behind. The fire made me whole, the heartbreak shaped my soul. You took the love, but not my flame. You left the scars, but not the shame. And though your shadow still fades across the sky, I learned that broken wings can still learn how to fly.
I watch the headlights disappear in rain, like a prayer dissolving down the window pane.
You took the future hanging on our walls and left me standing where the silence falls.
The house we built became an empty shell,
A holy place that turned itself to hell.
every room carried your ghostly sound.
While my heart was breaking underground,
I was losing every piece of who I knew, trying to survive the wreckage left by you. But beneath the ruins something still remained. I built a cathedral from my scars, raised it higher than the falling stars. Every crack became a stained glass light, shining through the darkest night. You left me bleeding in the cold, but pain became a heart of gold. Now I'm stronger than I've ever been. I found my soul inside the end.
I found my soul inside the air.
For months I carried oceans in my chest.
Or exhaustion like a second skin at
The
best.
mirror showed a stranger in my place.
Someone haunted by your fading trace.
But every morning that I chose to stay, pulled another stone out of the way. And every tear that burned across my face was carving out a stronger shape. The storm inside me screamed 1,000 names, but survival slowly rewrote all the pain. And the fire learned to dance instead of pray. I built a cathedral from my scars, raised it higher than the falling stars. Every crack became a stained glass light, shining through the darkest night. You left me bleeding in the cold, but pain became a heart of gold. Now I'm stronger than I've ever been. I found my soul inside the end.
I turned the heart into a flame, and I will never be the same.
There was a moment I believed the darkness had already won, like all the colors of my life
Had vanished from the sun, but rock bottom taught me how to climb when there was nowhere left to fall. And losing everything I loved helped me discover it all. The strength was never in your hands, it was buried deep in mine, waiting for the heartbreak to reveal its design. I built a cathedral from my scars and filled the sky with who we are. Not the lovers that we used to be, but the fighter you awakened in me.
You left me shattered on the floor, but I I remember the night you left like a wildfire, burning every promise, every dream we built higher. The sky was collapsing inside my chest, and every breath felt harder than the rest. I chased your shadow through abandoned streets, searching for a heartbeat underneath the grief. But the silence answered louder every day as your memory slowly slipped away.
I was sinking through the bottom of myself, holding broken pieces no one else could help, certain I would disappear inside the pain.
But the mountains learned my name when I walked through fire and rain. Every wound became a road, every loss became a change. You left me shattered on the ground, yet somehow I was never drowned. The storm tried to bury me alive, but I came back stronger every time.
There were mornings I could barely face the light, dragging all my fears into another fight. The mirror reflected someone I didn't know.
A soul exhausted from carrying the cold, I kept hearing echoes of what used to be. 1,000 versions of you haunted me, but strong where hope began to wake.
Every tear became a river moving on, every scar became proof that I was strong, and the darkness slowly lost its grip on me.
Now the mountains know my name, I survived the flood of pain. Every wound became a road, every loss became a change. You left me shattered on the ground, yet somehow I was never drowned. The storm tried to bury me alive, but I came back stronger every Now I'm standing on my own. You were the thunder breaking through my sky, the reason I forgot how to fly, the reason I spent nights begging heaven why.
But pain became a teacher in disguise, showing me the strength behind my eyes, and all the ruins you left in your wake became the foundation I would make.
So let the lightning strike again, let the darkness call my name. I've already survived the worst and transformed it into flame. Now the mountains sing my name like a victory through the rain. Every wound became a road, every loss became a change. You left me shattered long ago, but from the cracks the light now glows. The heartbreak that once brought me to my knees became the reason I believe.
I still remember how it hurt, I still remember every goodbye, but those memories no longer own me,
Because the person who survived that night is stronger than the one who cried.
and where you left ashes.
I built a sunrise.
The last thing you left was your name on my phone, a ghost in the silence after you were gone. I stared at the ceiling for hundreds of nights, trying to bargain with shadows and light.
The city kept moving while I stood still, dragging a heart that refused to heal. Every memory cut like shattered glass, and every tomorrow felt trapped in the past.
I was a house with the windows blown out, a soul full of questions and oceans of doubt. But somewhere beneath all the damage and dust, a spark was refusing to turn into rust.
So I lit a fire in the ruins, turned my heartbreak into gold, built a kingdom from the pieces of the story that you stole. I was drowning in the sorrow with no shoreline left inside. Now I'm dancing with the thunder and surviving every night. You thought I'd disappear, but I'm still standing here. I carried your goodbye like a stone in my chest, a wall that followed me wherever I went. The mirror reflected a stranger's eyes, someone still learning how to survive.
There were moments I wanted to give up the fight, to surrender my dreams to the dark of the night. But pain has a way of revealing the truth, of showing the strength hidden deep inside you.
Every scar became a map across my skin.
Every loss became the place where I begin, and the voice I thought was broken learned to sing.
So I lit a fire in the ruins, turned my heartbreak into gold, built a kingdom from the pieces of the story that you stole. I was drowning in the sorrow with no shoreline left inside. Now I'm dancing with the thunder and surviving every night.
You thought I'd disappear, but I'm still standing higher than the fear, higher than the fall, higher than the version of me that almost lost it all.
You were the earthquake, you were the flood, you were the chapter written in blood. But I became the mountain that refused to break. I became the sunrise after every ache.
And now the echoes of your leaving don't sound like chains anymore. They're just reminders of the battle that I survived before. I lit a fire in the ruins and watched the darkness lose control. Every tear became a river, leading me back to my soul. I was shattered into fragments, scattered underneath the sky. Now those fragments form the wings that taught my heart to fly.
The pain became my flame, and I will never be the same.
You ever see me now, standing where you left me broken? Know this,
You didn't destroy me. You uncovered the strength I never knew I was holding. And from the ruins of your goodbye, I became my own salvation. You left that winter swallowing the sun. No warning shot, no place left to run. One conversation turned the world to dust. A single goodbye shattered all my trust.
the days grew heavy, dragging at my feet. Every heartbeat felt like a defeat. I wore my grief beneath a smiling face, while falling through a cold and endless space.
I kept searching for a way to understand why love can slip away like grains of sand. But broken things can teach us how to stand. This is the sound of surviving, the roar beneath the pain, the voice that kept on rising through every storm and flame.
You tore apart my heaven, you left me lost and scarred. But every wound you gave me rebuilt a stronger heart.
sound. This is the sound of surviving, the roar beneath the pain, the voice that kept on rising through every storm and flame.
You tore apart my heaven, you left me lost and scarred, but every wound you gave me rebuilt a stronger heart.
I hear it loud and clear, I'm still standing here. Hear the thunder in my chest, hear the fire in my veins. What once felt like the ending now is calling out my name.
I thought I'd disappear inside the weight of losing you. Thought the darkness would become the only thing I knew. But rock bottom at a doorway, hidden underneath the pain, and every tear I cried alone became the fuel for change. Now I'm not afraid of brokenness, I'm not afraid to fall, because I've seen what happens when a soul survives it all.
This is the sound of surviving,
A battle anthem in the dark,
the rhythm of redemption.
beating from a wounded heart.
You tore apart my heaven,
You left me lost and scarred, but every wound you gave me revealed who I really am.
no longer held by fear.
My voice is finally here. I still carry traces of your goodbye, like faded smoke across the sky, but they no longer pull me under.
They remind me
That I walked through the fire, faced the heartbreak, survived the silence, and became louder than the pain.
the night you left, the ocean changed its song. The waves kept crashing, but you were gone. Your coat still hung beside the door for a week, like hope refusing to admit defeat.
I walk the rooms that carry your perfume, 1,000 ghosts alive inside the gloom. Every corner held a piece of us, every memory turned fragile dust.
I was drifting farther from the shore, losing faith in what I was fighting for. Then a voice beneath the wreckage said, there is more. Now I'm building a lighthouse from my bones, shining where I There was nothing left to hold on to.
But grief became a hammer, breaking open walls within, and underneath the broken pieces was a strength I hadn't seen. Now the thunder doesn't scare me, and the darkness doesn't win, because I've learned that even shattered hearts can learn to beat again.
Now I'm building a lighthouse from my bones, calling lost souls safely home. Every wound illuminates the sea, every scar sets part of me free. You left me with a heart undone, but look at all that I've become. The love is gone, the lesson remains, and I turn heartbreak into flame. The waves still whisper your name sometimes, like echoes fading with the tide, but they no longer pull me under. They remind me that even after the fiercest storm, even after the deepest loss, a broken heart can become a beacon. And tonight I'm finally shining.
The night you left, the ocean changed its song. The waves kept crashing, but you were gone. Your coat still hung beside the door for weeks, like hope refusing to admit defeat.
I walk through rooms that carry your perfume, 1,000 ghosts alive inside the gloom. Every corner held a piece of us, every memory turned fragile dust.
I was drifting farther from the shore, losing faith in what I was fighting for. Then a voice beneath the wreckage said there is more.
Now I'm building a lighthouse from my bones, shining where I once felt alone. Every crack is glowing in the dark, every scar became a spark.
You left me with a heart undone, a war I thought I'd never overcome. But the pain became the fire inside that taught me how to survive.
There were mornings when the sky looked gray, like all the colors had been swept away. I carried heartbreak like a heavy chain, dragging every step through endless rain.
I begged the mirror for a different face, someone who could simply walk away. But healing isn't found in running fast, it's learning how to outlive the past.
The storm kept calling me by name, trying to convince me I'd never change. But every battle carved strength into my veins.
Now I'm building a lighthouse from my bones, shining where I once felt alone. Every crack is glowing in the dark, every scar became a spark.
You left me with a heart undone, a war I thought I'd never overcome. But the pain became the fire inside that taught me how to survive.
I can see beyond the waves. I am more than what you gave.
Stood at the edge of everything I knew, watching our forever split in two. And for a moment I believed there was nothing left to hold on to.
But grief became a hammer, breaking open walls within, and underneath the broken pieces was a strength I hadn't seen. Now the thunder doesn't scare me, and the darkness doesn't win, because I've learned that even shattered hearts can learn to beat again.
Now I'm building a lighthouse from my bones, calling lost souls safely home. Every wound illuminates the sea, every scar sets part of me free.
You left me with a heart undone, but look at all that I've become. The love is gone, the lesson remains, and I turn heartbreak into flame.
The waves still whisper your You left on a Sunday painted gray and gold, with a suitcase full of silence and a heart gone cold. I watched your shadow fade beyond the station lights,
while my world collapsed between 1,000 sleepless nights.
The walls knew every promise that we couldn't keep. They echoed all the words that still haunted me, and every photograph became a falling stone, reminding me how quickly forever can be gone.
I was a city after midnight, streetlights flickering alone, a soul searching through the wreckage for a way back home.
But where the fireflowers grow after the heartbreak and the smoke, I found pieces of myself hidden underneath the broken road. You left a hurricane inside my chest, a war that stole away my rest. But every wound became a seed, and now I'm stronger than I'll ever need.
The ashes fed the ground, and new life came around.
There were mornings when the sunlight felt too bright, like happiness belonged to someone else's life.
I carried grief like thunder in my veins, dragging chains made out of yesterday. The mirror showed a face I barely knew, someone stitched together by the truth that healing isn't clean and it isn't fast. It's learning how to love beyond the past. Every tear became an ocean, every ocean met the shore. Every step through devastation made me stronger than before.
And where the fireflowers grow after the heartbreak and the smoke, I found pieces of myself hidden underneath the broken road. You left a hurricane inside my chest, a war that stole away my rest. But every wound became a seed, and now I'm stronger than I'll ever need.
The ashes fed the ground, and new life came around.
I can hear the mountains calling, I can hear my spirit rise.
From the ruins of a love story, I became my own sunrise.
I spent so long believing that losing you meant losing me, like my future disappeared into your leaving.
But pain has a strange way of opening locked doors, showing hidden strengths you've never seen before. And every crack inside my heart became a window to the stars. So let the heavens shake tonight, let the thunder roll and cry.
I've already walked through hell and came back alive.
Now where the fireflowers grow, I stand taller than before.
Not because the hurt is gone, but because it doesn't rule me anymore. You left a hurricane inside my chest, yet somehow it became my breath. The storm that tried to pull me down taught my wings to leave the ground.
The ashes fed the ground, and look at me now.
I still remember your goodbye, the way it tore apart the sky. But that chapter no longer owns my name.
Because after the darkness,
After the wreckage,
after the long and lonely road,
I found a garden growing in the flames.
and that's where I learned
How to bloom again.
the night you left. The stars look counterfeit, like heaven had forgotten how to shine a bit. Your goodbye echoed through the apartment walls, a final avalanche before the fall.
I swept our memories cardboard boxes packed away forever in forgotten closets. But no matter how far I tried to run, your ghost kept rising with the sun.
I was carrying the weight of 1,000 regrets, a heart full of scars I couldn't forget, sitting at the edge of my cell.
But I wear a crown of the fallen now, forging the fire I couldn't put out. Every tear became a diamond in the dark. Every scar became a mark of who we are.
You left me bleeding beneath the wreckage, certain I'd never escape it. But the pain became my battle cry and taught me how to survive.
There were days I couldn't recognize my face, like grief had stolen every trace of the dreamer I used to be. Before love became a casualty, I watched the seasons change outside my door, while fighting wars nobody saw, trying to find a reason to believe there was still something left in me. Then I heard a whisper beneath the despair, a voice saying you're still here, and that changed everything. Now I wear a crown of the fallen now, forging the fire I couldn't outrun. Every tear became a diamond in the dark. Every scar became a mark of who I become.
You left me broken beneath the wreckage, certain I'd never escape it. But the pain became my battle cry and taught me how to survive.
I rose from the dust, stronger than I was.
You were the earthquake under my feet, the chapter I never wanted to read, the storm that ripped apart my sky and left me asking why.
But every ending hides a door, and every wound can become more than a reminder of what went wrong.
It can become the place you grow strong. Now the thunder in my chest sounds less like fear and more like power. I didn't heal all at once, I healed it hour by hour.
Now wear a crown of the fallen, a monument to battles won. Every tear became a diamond in the dark. Every scar shines brighter than the sun.
You left me shattered, that's the truth, but you didn't take my roots. And from the deepest place I broke, I found the strongest version of my soul.
I still remember your name, I still remember the pain, but neither one controls me now, because sometimes love leaves you in ruins.
And sometimes those ruins become the foundation of the person you were always meant to be. You left your fingerprints on every room, like faded constellations I still traced through the gloom.
The coffee cup beside the sink remain a monument to everything that changed.
The silence grew so loud it shook the floor. I heard your absence knocking at the door, and every midnight turned into a trial as I carried the wreckage mile by mile.
I was hanging by a thread of faith, a heart half buried under pain, believing I had nothing left to save.
But the last thing love could take was never who I am. It stole the future we imagined. left a mark. Every scar became a spark, light in places in the dark I couldn't see.
Because the last thing love could take was never who I am. It stole the future we imagined, but not the strength within my hands. You broke the skyline of my world, turned blue skies into gray. But the last thing love could take was the fire it helped create. Oh, I survived the fall. Oh, and I outlived it all. The pain was real, the tears were true, but neither one became my ending. I stood inside the ruins with dust upon my skin, certain there was no reason to believe again. Then I heard my own heartbeat beneath the weight of grief, a quiet drum reminding me that I was more than what I'd lost. And all the nights that nearly broke me became the nights that built me strong. Every chapter filled with sorrow helped me
Learn where I belong.
Now the last thing love could take,
Feel smaller every day,
because the pieces that were shattered,
found a different way.
you broke the skyline of my world, but I painted new horizons. And the person standing here tonight is stronger than the one you left behind. Oh, the storm has come and gone. Oh, and somehow I moved on. I still carry echoes of your name like distant thunder after rain, but they don't shake the ground beneath me anymore.
Because love took many things when it left,
But it couldn't take my courage, it couldn't take my voice, and it could never take the light I found inside the darkness. The night you walked away, the city lost its glow. Neon lights were burning, but they felt so cold.
your shadow crossed the doorway like a final curtain call. And I swear I heard my future shatter down the road.
I spent months collecting fragments of a life we used to know, holding broken promises that wouldn't let me go.
Every song became a battlefield, every street a scar. I kept searching for your light inside the dark.
I was sinking like a stone beneath the waves, convinced I'd be another soul the heartbreak claimed. But even in the deepest part of pain, so gravity couldn't keep me down, couldn't chain my spirit to the ground. You left me with 1,000 reasons not to try, but I found a million reasons why. To rise, rise from the wreckage, rise through the smoke and flame. The heart you thought was broken came back stronger from the pain.
I hear the heavens call, and I survived it all.
And I survived it all.
There were mornings when the mirror felt like a stranger's face, a reflection stitched together by exhaustion and mistakes. I wore my grief like armor, heavy on my skin, fighting silent battles no one else had seen. kept chasing me through every passing year, whispering old stories I was terrified to hear. But every tear became a river, moving toward the sea, and every mile carried me back to me. The wound was deep, the fall was hard, the night was long and left its marks. But scars can become constellations in the dark. Gravity couldn't keep me down, couldn't chain my spirit to the ground. You left me with 1,000 reasons not to try, but I found a million reasons why. To rise, rise from the wreckage, rise through the smoke and flame. The heart you thought was broken came back stronger from the pain. Oh, I hear the heavens call, and I survived it all. And I survived it all. Let the thunder roll, let the mountains shake. I've already lived through heartbreak. What more can fate take?
I used to think survival meant forgetting your name, erasing every memory, escaping every flame.
But healing wasn't hiding from the hurt I carried through. It was learning how to live despite the truth.
And now the cracks inside my soul are windows full of light. Every chapter that destroyed me helped me win this fight. I lost the love I thought I needed, lost the life I planned to know. But in the ruins of that ending, I found a strength that chose to grow. Gravity couldn't keep me down, now I'm standing where I once drowned. The tears became the fuel beneath my wings tonight, and every darkness led me to the light. I rise, rise with the echoes, rise with the scars I've earned. The fire that once consumed me became the fire that burns. No longer afraid to fall. I survived it all.
You were a chapter, not the whole story. You were a storm, not the sky. And though your goodbye changed the shape of my heart, it never changed the strength inside it. I found your name inside an old notebook, hidden between the pages I could never close. A relic from a life that disappeared too fast, a photograph of a future that never lasted.
The streetlights blur like tears against the glasses. I watched another season slowly pass. Every dream we built collapsed without a sound, leaving me alone with the rubble on the ground.
I was a whisper in an empty room, a fading spark beneath the moonless gloom, certain I would never find my way again.
But I had paper wings in a hurricane, a fragile heart standing in the pouring rain. And though the winds tried to tear me apart, Reflection clears the view, and sometimes losing someone leads you back to you.
Now I see the beauty in the cracks.
The light that shines through everything I lacked, and though the wound remains a part of me, it no longer writes my destiny.
Yeah, I had paper wings in a hurricane, and somehow they carried me through the pain. The love we lost became the wind behind my soul,
Pushing me toward places I didn't know. I bent, I broke, but I survived the fall, and found a stronger voice beneath it all. Now every storm that rises in my way reminds me of the strength I found that day.
I still hear echoes of your goodbye, like distant thunder across the sky, but they don't frighten me anymore.
Because I learned that even the weakest wings can cross the fiercest storm.
When the heart refuses to stop flying,
I remember standing in the aftermath of a love that disappeared without looking back. Your voice still lingered in the hallway, yeah, like a ghost convinced that you'd always be there.
the flowers died beside the bedroom window. The colors faded from the world I used to know, and every promise scattered in the wind, like pages torn from where we've been.
I kept carrying the weight of yesterday, like a chain around a heart that couldn't break away. But deep beneath the sorrow and regret, a pulse was beating in my chest, and the echoes never won. Though they haunted every room, though they followed every step through the darkness and the gloom, you left me with a sky of smoke, a soul hanging by a rope. But every time the shadows came, I learned to call my strength by name. I refuse to disappear. I survived my deepest fear.
There were nights I watched the city lights below, wondering if healing would ever find me whole. Every street reminded me of what we lost. Every memory came with a cost.
I built my life from splinters and debris, from shattered dreams and broken beliefs, and little by little, brick by brick, I became stronger than the heartbreak did.
The pain was loud, the silence louder still, but neither one could crush my will, because somewhere in the ruins hope remained.
And the echoes never won, though they haunted every room, though they followed every step through the darkness and the gloom. You left me with a sky of smoke, a soul hanging by a rope. But every time the shadows came, I learned to call my strength by name. I refuse to disappear. I survived my deepest fear. I can hear the thunder roll, but it doesn't shake my soul, not anymore.
You were the flood that tore apart the land, the chapter I could never understand, the wound that left a mark across my life.
But scars are proof that healing happened too, that I kept breathing when I wanted to, that every tear
And every battle that I faced became the reason I transformed.
You left me with a sky of smoke, but now it's filled with stars. The pain that once felt endless could never reach this far. I found my way through the dark and reclaimed my home. Some loves leave behind ashes,
Some leave behind scars.
but sometimes
If you survive the fire long enough,
the ashes become soil,
the scars become stories,
and the broken heart becomes the strongest thing you've ever known. The night you left, the stars went out one by one, like they couldn't bear to watch what we'd become. Your suitcase rolled across the wooden floor, and silence moved into the space where love had lived before.
I stood there frozen, unable to speak, holding on to promises already out of reach. The air felt heavy, every breath a fight, as if the world had lost its light.
For a long time I wore your absence like a chain,
Dragging it through every season, every rain.
believing heartbreak was my only name. But
1,000 miles after goodbye, I found a fire still alive, buried underneath the wreckage of the nights I cried.
1,000 miles after the fall, I learned I didn't lose it all. The heart you left in pieces found a way to stand up tall. Oh, I was stronger than I knew.
Oh, when I finally made it through.
I remember conversations with the dark,
Trying to protect the last remaining spark. The mirror reflected someone tired and worn, a soul still grieving what was never coming home.
every memory felt like broken glass.
Cutting through the moments as they passed, but pain kept carving pathways through the stone, leading me somewhere I'd never known.
The wound stayed open longer than I planned.
But healing taught me what I couldn't understand.
Some endings are where new beginnings stand. 1,000 miles after goodbye, I found a fire still alive, buried underneath the wreckage of the nights I cried. 1,000 miles after the fall, I learned I didn't lose it all. The heart you left in pieces found a way to stand up tall. Oh, I was stronger than I knew. Oh,
When I finally made it through.
the thunder still rolls sometimes, but it doesn't own the sky. And your memory still visits, but it doesn't decide my life. I thought survival meant forgetting every trace of you, erasing every photograph and every truth.
But survival was much harder than that. It was waking up each day, choosing not to stay broken, choosing not to let sorrow write the ending.
Because each scar became a compass,
Pointing me toward who I could be, and every tear became a river carrying me back to me.
now 1,000 miles after goodbye, I'm no longer asking why. The storm that tried to break me taught me how to fly. 1,000 miles beyond the pain, I can finally see the change. The person standing here today isn't who You were the storm I never wanted, but somewhere beyond the heartbreak, beyond the tears, beyond the goodbye, I found myself, and that became the greatest love story of all.